Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting case of Bluecoats. As you can see, our little overlay is a little wonky, and part of the reason is that we've got an extra person today. So, everybody, hi. Yes. I'm just gonna let everybody introduce themselves. So I'm gonna start this by saying, Lauren, tell us who you are and what's up with you. Actually, stop. Lauren, I'm gonna have to make you say all that again. I am so sorry. Somebody let me know that my audio is messed up. 1 second. I apologize. Let me do this thing.
Thanks, right. Chat.
Thank you, chat. All right, let's try this. All right, so, Lauren, will you say something and we'll have chat confirm that we're getting sound?
Hello.
Yeah, it's working now. FF says it's good to go. I'm sorry. Please say it all again. I really apologize. Go ahead.
No problem. I'm Lauren. I use she/they pronouns. I'm at the Stray Kiwi on Twitter, and yeah, no, I'm just very excited for this game. So much happened last time. There were ghosts possessing people, ghosts and jazz. We talked to a bunch of ghosts. So it's lots of ghost stuff. And yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. Strash.
Oh,
no,
right back at me. That's fine. Hey, I'm Strash.
One other person just like I can't take.
It's totally fine. You can find me on Twitter at StrashA. I will be playing Drive Around tonight, and as we mentioned, the new case that we're on involves ghosts murdering people and possessing folks, and so we're gonna have a guest spirit warden who I'm gonna allow to introduce himself. So John Harper, take it away.
Hi, I'm John. I use he/they pronouns. I'm John_Harper on Twitter. And I'm excited to join in here. I haven't been keeping current with the show, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't, in a way, because now I'm coming in as this outsider who doesn't really know what's going on. So I'm thinking of this kind of like maybe you've called the feds, in a way, to like come in and help out. So I'm gonna be that fed, and we'll see what it's like to have a spirit warden around when ghost stuff is transpiring. Yeah. Judd, take it away.
Hey, I'm Judd, he/him pronouns, and Judd_of_Cryos on the Twitters. And yeah, I'm excited to bring in, I just think the idea of John playing a fed, the spirit warden / fed crime. I just think it's really funny, a kind of way. It's kind of meta, and I love it. And let's do it. I'd like to jump in. John, what can you tell us a little bit about your spirit warden, or do you want to like tell us what it like? Can we do that thing where you're kind of like finishing up your last case before you come to this case? Like that kind of James Bond start where like he's finishing up his last case before like the movie starts.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so I'm playing an initiate. Okay. So in the upcoming supplement for Blades in the Dark, it's called Flame Without Shadow, which is part of the Inspector's Oath, being a Flame Without Shadow. And, the playbook that you have is the initiate. So you're someone who is on the path to becoming a full-fledged spirit warden, and my character is just about to take that transition into becoming that. So there's kind of two main ranks in the wardens. They're all called spirit wardens. It's mostly an internal division kind of thing. But initiates wear the eyeless masks that spirit wardens wear, but they usually wear them sort of pushed back so you can see their bottom of their face. And that's the way they kind of show their rank, is the mask isn't full. And like all the other spirit wardens, they're completely anonymous. There's something about the magic of their stuff their gear and things that anonymizes them. Even though you can sort of see their face, it's very hard to tell any details about them. So I can maybe talk about who my character is really, like in their real life, but in the world of the cops and the spirit wardens and doing the job, they're this very kind of blank figure. Initiate 7424 is their designation, and they have a symbol on their mask, which you can see if you look into the ghost field, and it's the Hadrathi writing that says "coiled like a serpent" or "rope," and so they're called Coil among people who call them something. They're tall. They have very slender wrists and a very soothing voice. They wear the deep purple coat of the spirit wardens and mask. And their background was they were in the military. They were part of an expeditionary force that did stuff in the Deathlands. And that was a real shit job, as you might imagine. And things went really wrong all the time. And they found they had a talent for dealing with the occult. So got out of that group as fast as they could and joined up with the wardens and are completing their initiate ship. In fact, maybe being given this case is one of the last sort of tests for them, potentially.
Cool.
Would you say that you found a way to get out of that chicken shit outfit?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was too many bug hunts. So yeah, Cassandra Slane is her sort of real name, and she's a noble from Imperial City, and her vice is her obligation to her house. She's kind of a high-ranking member of the Slane family, whose fortunes have really hit the skids in Duskwall, and she's trying to maybe do something about that while she's here. But spirit wardens all have to sort of lead double lives. So part of her time is spent dealing with house stuff, and they don't know she's a spirit warden.
Nice.
And then the rest is her initiate hood. So yeah, that was a long preamble, but I think in the James Bond sense of things, I'm picturing her being training some new recruits or testing some new recruits. I think I'm seeing these like final testing kind of things. One of it is like, how much of a leader are you? Are you going to be good at training new members? Do you have leadership qualities besides being good at like ghostly stuff? So I'm picturing a scene where there's a like loaded spirit bottle in a room, and there's 6 new recruits, and she has confiscated their lightning hooks, and all of their spirit warden stuff has been taken away, and she's just getting ready to release this feral ghost from this bottle, kind of like, close the door and like whoever makes it out, it gets to move to the next phase kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah. So I want to highlight there's this like blank face mask thing. And as the stopper comes out and she steps backwards into the shadows and the room fills with fog and frost and the electrical signature of the ghost, there's just sort of this blank look, and the lightning crackles reflected on her mask, and some people cry out in terror, and one of them runs for the door, and a few, like, you see everything like reflected in the mask, and she has this completely blank look of utter devotion and lack of concern for their well-being on her face, or their face. So yeah, I don't know if do you want to play a scene, or is that
yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think you watch these recruits, and as they, I think it's the Duskwall version of everybody getting tear gassed.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And one of them, one of the ones who's like one of the first ones to fall kind of prone, crawls over to a wall, and cuts their hand and like smears blood on the wall, and then starts crawling for the door, and the ghost actually gets distracted by the blood on the wall, and they buy enough time for everybody else to get out. And
nice.
And that's the person who makes it to the next level, and everybody else is kind of like to the next level.
Leadership material.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah, cool. And I think you were called. They like out. You were called in from Imperial City to train these folks, and you're at the Bellwether Crematorium, and I think you get a message taking you to the putting you in a cart to Whitestone and or White Crown and to the Master Warden's office or estate.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen oddly the Undying, like a hologram of the Undying Emperor in this game, and I think that the production designers use some of that splendor for the Master Warden, except in a kind of different vibe. Whereas I think the Undying Emperor is kind of modern military. The Master Warden is kind of harkening back to something ancient, but also a lot of modern tech. And but like I think that same blank face mask, and they say, Initiate 7424, have a seat. We are pleased with your results, and we would like you to stay in Duskval for a bit longer. There is an Imperial mandate that has recently been tripped. We have a list of names of Imperial employees who do various jobs, and one of them was found dead. And once people on these lists are found dead, it triggers an Imperial mandate. In this case, it was Lord Miles Penderin, who is the chief scholar of the Archive of Echoes. We have a few goals here. We would like to use this as leverage to gain control over the Archive of Echoes. That thing has been out of pocket for far too long, and we would like that to be under our purview from here on in. And of course, we want to solve the case. We believe that Lord Miles was illegally taking out ghosts for his own seance parties, and one of them possessed one of his guests, killed all the rest of the guests, and made their way out. There's already an Imperial investigator who has been fairly successful in her investigations, but we don't think that either she nor the liaison that she's been teamed with are prepared to deal with ghosts. So we are sending you in. This is gray territory. Spirit Wardens working with an Imperial mandate is going to be politically difficult, and you're going to have to find compromises and foster teamwork. But I think you'll be able to do these things. The investigator's name is Maya Tui. She works out of the Dunslow precinct, and her liaison is named Drav Aran. If neither of those names mean anything to you, it's because neither of those names mean anything to anyone.
I understand, Master Warden. And sorry, I guess out of character, Judd. I think you said this, but what is my objective specifically? I don't think I would question the Master Warden. I just
of course. Yeah, I think like you get what the Master Warden wants. The Master Warden, the primary goal is to get this ghost back in a jar or destroy it.
The one that was freed from the archive.
Yeah.
Penderin's ghost is.
Penderin's.
We don't know.
That's a good question. That was actually a good question for you to ask in character.
Okay, then yes.
But primary goal is get the ghost that's escaped from the archive. Secondary goal, get control of that archive. And
the disposition of Penderin's spirit.
That's an interesting question and a very apt question. And that's why one of the reasons why we would put you on this case. There were 4 people killed in the seance party. None of their ghosts were recovered. The ghost that got away, we believe, was a ward keeper. The ward keepers were a barbaric and superstitious institution that existed before the spirit wardens, before the lightning fences went up. It was like pre-cataclysm Wild West out here. It was like gondoliers and wizards. I'm not joking. They would literally call themselves wizards. And we believe that the ghost that Penderin let out was a ward keeper, a particularly angry ward keeper who was not thrilled at the idea of the establishment of the spirit wardens.
Understood.
What she could get up to if her ghost was allowed to run rampant might not be simple murder. It could very well be state terrorism. Do you have any other questions for me before you head to Dunslow? Actually, we're actually going to put you on a gondolier right to the archive because that's where the investigators are at this time.
Very good. I'm ready to deploy. I won't let you down, Master Warden.
I know. And yeah, I think they put you on a gondola, and a scared shitless gondolier sticks you to the Archive of Echoes. We ended the game last time with you two, I think, in the archive. Mm-hmm. And
we were actually...
Sorry, just before we cut, my character's friend relationship is Cirsa, who's a gondolier.
Nice. It's her.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's fine. I was going to slip the gondolier a message to send to her, but it can be her. That's fine too.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally her. That's great.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to make that connection, and as I board, we like pretend not to know each other at all. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And I'm from out of town and whatever, and I sit and I'm carried away, and then I leave her a note basically like outlining the case. To like, get her up to speed. Like, here, it's Penderin, it's the archive, like here's the situation. And as I pay for the ride, I like slip her this note to
Yeah. And I think like as she pulls the gondola towards the archive, there's another gondola parked there. And there's an old man in it, another gondola driver, and he looks up and says, "Cirsa, what are you doing here?" She says, "Working." "What are you doing here, Mist?" This is my this is my beat. Mm-hmm. My charge asked me to take him here. Is that all right with you, Mist? He says, "Yeah, of course, Cirsa. No, nothing up." And then I think when he sees you get off the boat, he like just backs away, gives Cirsa. Yeah, and Cirsa, like, you see her like tie the boat up and like let you know through her what she's doing that she'll be waiting here for when you're done.
Cool, sweet.
As Initiate 7424 walks up, I think you two had just like finished the first stage of the investigation. You'd gotten information, but we were kind of figuring out if you were going to do downtime or just keep plugging away because time is of the essence. I think you guys are outside the archive smoking when you see the spirit warden, this half-masked spirit warden, walk up.
I think right before that, Drav actually probably asks Maya, he's like, have you ever been close to a spook before?
And I think like Maya's like, a spook?
Yeah, do you have like spirit wardens over where you're from?
I mean, not in the strict definition of the word, but we have folks who look out.
You're something else in this town. I would tell you that you're in for a treat, but it's the other one.
Correct.
And I think that there's a definite point when we see the Spirit Warden like going up the steps that like Drev gets the shivers on the spine kind of moment.
And I think the other thing that you two are going through is you're going through the mandate.
Oh,
and and you're like looking through, and there's like one slip of paper that kind of like falls out in between two folders, and it's like Spirit Warden assistance might be called in as per Lord Governor's purview.
That guy does not like us. And
it's just like, wait, what? Like it just literally like it just like falls out in between you, and then I think like that's when 7424 walks up.
I think we definitely see Maya pick up that piece of paper with like broad slumped shoulders of like mild dejection, because we've had people following us before or looking over our shoulder, and it's never resulted in good things.
Right. Cool. And like there's you hear the click of boots coming down the steps, and you're outside this odd dead end in a canal, in a ill-used canal, and
You said we're in Dunslow, Judd?
No, actually, you're in you're way under Charter Hall.
Okay. They're based in Dunslow, but we're in Charter Hall now.
Yeah, you're in Charter Hall now. Yeah,
my police precinct and stuff is, but
gotcha. Okay, so this is like the scene of the crime.
No, this is actually the Archive of Echoes.
Oh, it is. Oh,
yeah.
Dang. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's so Greenwater, big underground thing. Yes.
Yeah. So I've like gone down below the street level.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking, I don't know what you've established yet, but I'm thinking maybe the location of this place is not known.
Nope.
Normally, right? Like,
yep.
And it's something the Spirit Wardens, this just knowing where this is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay. That's cool.
We had to have a special gondolier bring us. Apparently your gondolier is in on the secret, but yeah.
So, I would like to use an ability from the Spirit Warden's imperative, which Strash has used this ability. I think maybe the only other person to use it. I can arrange for a Death Seeker Crow to like hang around, and like instead of just going and flying out to scenes of murder, like I can have one assigned to me and it just sort of like hangs out. So I would like for that crow to be around, and as I wind through the alleyway where I've been instructed, and just as I'm about to go down the steps, I like the blank mask turns towards it, and there's a whisper below the mask that the crow can hear, and I give it the instruction like this, like mark this place. This is the entrance to the archive. Like let it be known to the wardens and to the rest of the rookery and everything. Like I'm GPS pinging it with my crow.
Awesome. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it. I think like it grabs one of Maya and Drav's like cigarette butts off the ground and like goes off into like a little area and starts building a nest.
Nice. In case we need some sympathetic magic at some point, we've got some. Sweet. Okay, cool. So I'm picturing it now. I'm walking down through this like subterranean passageway, and the two of you are outside the entrance to the archive.
Yep.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, I approach and stand off at a bit of a distance, like out, not intruding on your personal space. And I stop and I say, I am from the Wardens. I'm to assist you in your mandate. You must be the inspector. And obviously to Maya.
And for reference, Maya, like if you've read Pretty Deadly, like think Big Alice. Like, she's very tall, broad-shouldered, like often has like a big brimmed hat on. I think like she probably has her back to you, and she likewise turns with that sort of profile shot, and has that piece of paper in hand that says like, you're gonna get assistance on this. And nice. I think she says very cordially, like, indeed, I am Inspector Mayatui, and by the sounds of things, you're here to help us, me and my colleague Dravaran, and gestures to Drav.
Yeah, the mask like turns to face you.
I think Drav is standing behind Maya's shoulder, and he probably winces when she actually says his name. And I think he just, tries to fade into the background as much as possible.
I say, yes, I hope my assistance will be sufficient. Unlike you, I am not in the employ of the Lord Governor or the precinct or the chief of the watch. I have been sent here by a sacred imperative by the Emperor, and I intend to see it through. But fear not. Together, I'm sure we can accomplish our goals. And if we have to lay down our lives, that is a small price to pay for the safety of the Empire, right?
Indeed. It sounds like our goals are mutually aligned, as well as our values and dedication to this cause. But you can tell that she's like sort of very speaking sort of like that two-tone of like, I'm not trusting you. But yeah, and I think like she reaches a hand out to like shake.
Yeah, I reach out. There's like, under the sleeve you can see there's like some weird metal things and bits and pieces of stuff. Spirit wardens always have stuff, but they in this case shakes, and I think how are you like incredibly tall?
Yeah, are we like 6'7".
Oh wow, okay, so you're even taller. I'm tall, but you're taller than me. So the mask like angles up and you see your face in it, and cool. There's a professional like curt shake, like very good.
Yeah. And I think John, you would notice that she's clearly Severosi, and she's got like Deathlands wards all over her. And the other thing that you would notice is that she has violet eyes that are a very common color when someone, usually Severosi, have dealt with a ghostly possession in their youth.
Okay, that's awesome. So I spent my time in the Deathlands also, and I think when I'm close enough to shake and I see what you're wearing, it changes from like a professional courtesy to a little bit of a like kinder, like they hold your hand just for a beat, and then under their breath they say like a flame without shadow.
Oh, rad. And then I feel like it's appropriate to say like a shadow without flame.
Totally, yeah. It's like a call and response.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. And I think just to bring Drav into it, I think the crow realizes that Drav is really uncomfortable, and like a cat around people who hates cats.
No.
Yes. It's totally like on his shoulder, and it's like the shiniest thing on him is his badge, right? So it's like pecking at his badge and like it's a big crow, right? They're big.
Yeah, I think if it like actually lands on my shoulder, like I dodge and I reach for my gun. I'm like, what the? Can you get this thing off of me? Oh, sir, person, help! Like I'm looking at this.
I'm talking to the inspector and just completely ignoring this. Like,
yeah, there's like feathers and like just like trying to get away from it.
Yeah.
Totally. I think Maya likewise his violet eyes like fixed on Coil, and you kind of get that like when it's exchanged, like this very knowing sort of smile smirk that she issues you, like okay, like yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of respect happening all of a sudden. Like okay, you're not just some inspector. Like oh, all right, okay.
And then I think that's when Maya turns to drop and it's like, are you quite all right? Like
I think he's like glaring at the bird.
The bird, it's got to say something. So it says alive, Alive.
This totally this is just a reference to an earlier episode, but I think Trav is staring at the thing and he goes, "Do you know my name?"
Alive.
All right. You stay there. I'll stay here. We'll both be fine.
Yeah. As we're going in, I'll give it a little snap, to say
it backs off.
Hang out here and let me know if there's trouble.
Cool. Awesome. So, what do we want to do next, folks?
I think there's probably a gondola ride with one of those very scenic things where we fill in the spirit warden on the case. And just to give you... I think it's one of those things where, Drav, studies Maya to see, I don't know, there's, probably it doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. I think that Drav is just, for a split second, he's like, is this another investigator moving in on our case? Should we try and stonewall them, or is this somebody that we're going to cooperate with? And what's Maya's general reaction? Because remember, I missed your whole little... Well, actually, maybe Drav didn't. Drav is like, oh, I'm fancy. I've got wards, too. And then the blurb landed on him and everything else went out of his head. But, yeah, what's Maya's take on the Spirit Warden? Is Maya like, yes, this is an ally and we will cooperate with them fully, or...
Yeah, I think so. I think, at first glance, Maya was very skeptical, and then there was that sort of Deathlands exchange, and I think she's like, yeah, we can trust them. She might even give a hand gesture or a little nod or something to show that maybe that's very misplaced. Maybe she should be more skeptical, but I think in that moment, she was pretty sold.
It's okay. Remember that I will go as far as Bluecoat non-skeptical. my previous take on... I'm sitting here with a spirit warden, and the only thought... there are two thoughts in my head. The first one is they say they can read minds, and the other one is don't think about your whisper friend. But I think that Drav starts by saying, look, there was a murder, X amount of people at the scene of the crime. One of the jars that they use, because it's too big and too complex to be called a bottle, was there. That's what the ghost came out of. This is how many people were dead. This is the body that's currently possessing. We understand that it's actually the body of a Leviathan ship captain. We don't know where it is at the moment, but we suspect that one of its major goals is going to be to actually take down the walls. How, when, how long it's going to take, what it's going to need, I don't actually know. That's my rough, this is the outline of the case. X many people died, this is what happened. So, if you have questions, now's the time to ask.
How long since the murder?
24 hours.
Am I the first spirit warden on the scene?
I mean, yes.
And Lord Pinderen's spirit has gone along with the other dead.
So, interestingly enough, Drav looks puzzled for a split second, as if he doesn't actually know the answer to that question, and then he turns around and looks at Maya as if Maya would know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
I think, oh gosh, because what happened to Maya was she tried to commune with the spirits in that room and only ran into Una.
Yeah. But you know that all of the spirits in that room were gone. That Una took them.
Oh, good.
Okay. I'm gonna hold on to the idea that we were there at the scene, and we can just move on. And I can do flashbacks if I want to be oh, I'm at the scene and I did did a test for whatever.
So I think this is one of those moments where we're kind of gonna do downtime, but Drav being the liaison is just do you need to go to the house? It's taped up, but my badge will get us through.
To the house?
Where the murders occurred.
Oh, they did not occur at the archive.
No.
It was at a lord's house.
I see.
Charter Hall.
And some meta information is there was a blue coat killed at the scene, but I failed my role to notice it. So that's a piece of information that our characters don't have, but we know is
Yeah.
I think that's fine with me. If you guys have downtime stuff to do, I can be like at the scene. You know, we could do a little montage where I'm like catching up on what happened, and you're taking care of downtime stuff. That's
perfect.
Awesome.
Let's just do that.
Cool.
All right. Do we need to go through the whole protocol? Yeah, well, we need to go through the whole protocol. Did you want to roll for entanglements? Or wait,
sure.
We should actually do this.
Yeah, but that's a thing we have to do.
Yeah. There's like a whole shenanigan. 1 second. I have to make sure not to open it in the wrong window here. 1 sec.
For a second, I was like, dang, we have this. Like, we could investigate the crap out of this. And I was like, nope, wait, we have to do entanglement.
That is the catch, right? All right, let me just scroll down to the thingamajiggy so that we can go through it step by step.
Only the city would just stop for a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not to be. It's not to be. All right, step 1, duty. The unit earns 2 duty per operation by default. If the unit made progress on the mandate, take +1 duty. We clearly did.
Yeah.
If the unit completed a whole row, well, since I transferred the mandate, I did notice that we did complete a whole row last time. So
You did.
Take an additional +4 duty. So 2 normally, +1, plus another 4, we should have 7. If the unit endangered the peace or interfered with law and order, take -2 duty. It was it was very investigative and a lot of talking. There was 0 like heat per se.
Yeah.
All right. So now the actual term heat in the game context. After the operation or conflict with an opponent, the unit takes heat equal to double the tier of the highest tier subject involved. Now, the Lord was involved, but the Lord is also dead. So, what is it the Bluecoats that we're going to base the heat off of? Because I know that Athena was trying to hide certain details.
Oh, that's a good point.
I don't think the spirit or
If
the
I
wizards,
may,
the wizards don't have status. So.
just for a moment, because we are currently writing this text, we're rewriting that particular line because in playtest it's been a little unclear. The intention there was that it's the double the heat of the highest tier that you, as the Bluecoats, like interrogated, threatened, arrested, etc. If they're just the subject of the thing, then that's fine. But if you hassle tier 4 noble or whatever, then that's a problem. But if they're in part of the case, then it doesn't count for that. So
cool.
We asked for help from a high tier person, but it was in a letter and it wasn't hassled.
Yeah, I don't know. I
think other Bluecoats may be the highest tier we actually hassled.
Cool. Sounds good.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
So that would be 4 heat, +1 heat for a high profile or well connected target. None of the people we actually butted up against were that. +1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf. Technically, it wasn't in our district. We had to flash our badge to get in and take over the case.
Right.
I would say that's +1.
Yeah.
Because the people in Charter Hall, Athena really doesn't like us. So, all right. And then add +1 heat if you're at war. We're not. Add +2 heat if killing was involved. Not by us. So, 5 heat it is. Do you want to mark that for me, Judd? Just on the sheet?
Yes. 5 heat?
Yep, 5 heat, and we got 4, 5, 6, 7 rep, I believe.
Hold on, yeah. I'm trying. My internet just went a little shady.
I can't believe it's only 5 heat. It's nothing.
Yeah, we're used to just getting a wanted level every time, or not a wanted level, the pressure level every time.
Turns out when you don't spend your investigation interrogating the warden of Ironhook and punching Lord Rowan in the junk, it turns out you don't generate that much heat.
For the record, we never punched Lord Rowan in the junk.
We know we had someone else do that.
But he got kidnapped, and not by us.
Sorry, the 7 that you talked about, where does that go?
I marked it already. It was duty. I put it. It's the equivalent of
turf
rep
tier.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Paperwork and entanglements. Before entanglements, deal with paperwork. Blow off your paperwork to take +1d to one of your downtime rolls and choose what you say. Here's the thing. We know that the Emperor reads our paperwork, but I feel like because we are under heavy time pressure, maybe we blow it off this time. Not because we hate anyone or we don't want to report correctly, but because time may be of the essence.
That's smart.
That's a compelling case.
Yes.
And if I blow it off, we don't get additional penalties if you also blow it off, and vice versa.
Why not? Yeah.
All right. Cool.
The prisoner's dilemma. Are you gonna blow it off?
I think I actually, that is the entirety of my report. Is this case is extremely time sensitive, full report to follow, and that's the pretty much the entirety of my report for the moment.
Awesome.
Yeah. I waste no time. I just sign that rather than submit a report.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. In which case, Judd, we are at heat 4/5, which means that you roll 1d6 in order to generate a entanglement.
Got it. Bum, 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 bum.
All right. Make sure that I can see the thingamajiggy. Oh, a 6. Well, that's bad.
I is usually worse, yeah.
Reprisals. Somebody gets in it.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no. Or marked. What is marked? I do not know that one off the top of my head. Marked. The underworld makes a move against a member of the unit. How do they get the drop on you? Pay them off with coin, or they beat you up. And you spill a detail about the mandate.
I would like to see them try.
Well, I mean, technically, this could be the ghost.
Right.
I know that I don't have. Not to mention that the ghost may have other ghosts, so it could just be a possessed someone. But I'm just saying.
Yeah. The ghost doesn't. All right. So I know what happens. Here's what happens. It's weird. It's barely on this chart, but we're going to do it anyway. And I think this was where we were headed. So let's do it. Maya, I think you stop by your apartment. And as soon as you walk in, you realize that there's someone else there. You're there alone.
Ooh, it's probably that shot of sort of creeping into my room with the floorboard squeaks and the low light of a lamp or something, and then easing open the closet door. I feel like it still looks very bare. I don't really want to live here. There's not a lot that one could hide behind, but
awesome.
Yeah.
You open the closet door. No one's in the closet, luckily, and until you get to the tiny kitchen. And there's a man manacled to the radiator in the kitchen.
Oh.
And he's sweating profusely, and you know that it's the sweat someone has, and there's the blue electroplasmic glow coming out of his eyes and sometimes his mouth, and you know he's possessed.
Wow.
And he says, "Hi, Maya."
I think I take a chair from the kitchen table and I just sit down opposite him.
Yeah.
And I lean an elbow on my knee and then hand and chin.
He's on the floor. And I think he's leaned up against the radiator, and it's a really shitty, 1890s radiator. And so it's just scalding hot, and you can smell the burning as the ghost is leaning this guy's body against it. Says,
I think okay, go.
I told you that if you gave me time, I would give you something. This is something. His name is Trick Sethla. He has been writing Go Home Nomads on Severosi Homes. That doesn't seem nice.
I think Maya arches a very an eyebrow, and as the ghost is saying this, I think she still sort of kicks off the radiator, and you hear it sort of sputter into death. And she says, "Well, this certainly is something. I don't see how it's going to help me, although I'm sure other Severosi families are Very grateful.
Come on. Bringing in a racist idiot to the precinct? That's got to be good for you still. Or has the City Watch changed that much in the past centuries?
Well, it depends upon if one can keep them in. It doesn't matter if you just bring them in. They have to have done something.
Not my problem. Have they called in a spirit warden yet?
Oh, God. I think Bias is like, what do you think?
I think they probably have. Are you falling for that faceless mystique, Maya? Am I going to be disappointed in you?
I have fallen for very little in my life.
That's the spirit.
I think, like, she sits back down in her chair and, like, leans forward and looks, like, her violet eyes, like, gaze deeply into the blue ones opposite her, looking down. And she says, what will you do with this extra time?
Oh, you'll find out soon. Just give me the time. I don't want to harm this city. I love this city more than anyone I know. I'm going to keep it well set up. The fact that the spirit, you think you need the spirit wardens just shows how terrible their illusions are.
You know, Una, harm is a very subjective term.
That's true.
And if you are here, what of the body you've been possessing?
I'm very thorough, Una. Or I'm very thorough, Maya.
Well, of course, I would expect nothing less. You've been very thorough throughout this entire investigation.
Stall them. Give me time. Let me prove it to you.
Prove it to me.
I like you. I don't want to have to kill you and spend your ghost to do terrible things.
You know, Una, people have tried before and failed.
Good.
People like
There we
you.
go. Have fun with your gift.
Very.
And she, like, you see her come out of the body. And this is the first time we're seeing in game a ghost. Like, we saw a ghost projected at the archive, but that's different. That's really watered down. This is something totally different.
Would that be a cheeky time to do a flashback?
It's also a good time to make a basically like the fear that this ghost is inflicting, like, terrible fear on you. Like, you're going to vomit in fear.
Oh, cool. Sorry, what role am I making?
It depends. If you don't mind vomiting in fear and taking some damage, you can just take it. If you want to resist, you can absolutely resist.
Yeah, I'll resist vomiting.
Cool.
It feels like it's a. Let me just look at these descriptions. I think savvy is willpower, right? Like mental strength and willpower.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's yeah. I mean, sure. Conviction counts too.
Cool.
There's a bit of an edge case. I would lean towards conviction, but it's your, it's your interpretation that matters. So.
Ooh. Oh, there! I can see a cool case for both. I think this feels like a conviction, like standing strong in like your physical fortitude.
Cool.
Oh, I got a 6.
Cool.
Costs you nothing.
Nice. That's a Deathlander.
Dang right.
It's cool. What does the flashback look like? What do we see?
Because I guess we haven't really like. I kind of want to have some kind of ghost GPS tracking on like wherever this ghost is going. And I know we know Hopper. I know Hopper is kind of involved in this kind of thing. So I don't know if it's
neat.
Appropriate to sort of have had Hopper set us up with some kind of ghost beacon tracking thing.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Like appropriated Spirit One tech or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I love the idea of you talking to Hopper. Yeah, let's go back. So like, it's right at the beginning of the case, and you heard that you saw there was ghost stuff around, and you called in Hopper, and he's like, "Hey, Maya, what's up? What do you need?"
I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to need to use a lot more of your abilities, Hopper. But sometimes you may not be present. And I was hoping if you could help us out.
What do you want to be able to do?
Hunt ghosts, for lack of a better word.
All right. So you're dealing with a serial possessor, right?
Indeed.
All right. So here's the thing. When they leave a body, they leave a signature behind. So if you stick this, and it's like an obscenely big Victorian needle, into the person they leave behind, the arrow will point towards where the ghost is.
I see a ghost compass.
Yeah, but if they leave the person alive, they won't be happy about it. I know I shouldn't have to say that, but I've worked in the underworld, and I know that I have to say that.
I appreciate your caution, Hopper. Thank you for your time.
And yeah, the ghost leaves, and there's this this racist jerk is left behind, manacled to your radiator, and you've got this like needle with a little compass on it.
Yeah, I think it's that kind of like Maya stands up and draws herself to her full height, and then we get sort of like a shot looking up at her from his perspective, and then it's just like a cut away. It's like you hear the thing go in quite forcefully, like probably more forcefully than she ought to be, and then
where did she put it in?
Oh, I feel like probably the shoulder. That's gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there's no good place to put it. So yeah. Awesome. Cool. I think that's the entanglement. I'm happy with that being it. Cool. What else do we have to do? Are we?
So there's two things. One is we take a look at faction statuses. Though I don't think we've really changed our faction statuses much, right? Like there is.
I don't think so.
Killing, which we had none of. Faction hurt by killing, +1 status. Faction helped by killing, so there was none of that. Arrests, we didn't make any arrests, and then we can take a look at the local clocks. But I feel like we didn't really interact with crime, wealth, or any of the other ones in particular. Like
nope. It was a weird one. Yeah. We can push on.
In which case, I feel like it's downtimes for all of us.
Okay. Cool. Drav, what are you up to?
I've got 3 downtimes, but I'm gonna kind of fold 2 of them together.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm actually also gonna talk to Hopper and Rona, and I'm gonna Spirit Wardens are Spirit Wardens, and Maya is Maya. But Drav uses kind of the street technique for dealing with ghosts, right? So essentially what he's gonna try and convince Hopper is to bring a ghost jar and see if he can kind of figure out what the hell it's like to try and stand in the presence of a ghost or deal with a ghost, because like this is not Drav's cup of tea, right? Like he's all about the planning, and like he knows about like intergang relationships and things like that. Ghosts are just not his jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's gonna talk to his friends and just see like what I'm angling for is like a personal training, and I'm just trying to figure out like how I can like what they can do to teach me or prepare me for whatever the hell it is that I'm going to be looking at in the not too distant future here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Hopper breaks it down. I mean, he likes to think of himself as a electroplasmic engineer more than a whisper.
Yeah, I've noticed.
So he like breaks down the science of it. And he's like, it's kind of like radiation. I mean, we're just not used to dealing with that kind of thing, and we shouldn't have to. And so everything in our physical, biological makeup reacts against it. And so what you can do is you can build up a tolerance and, start to get yourself ready for it. But it's like getting yourself ready for getting shot, right? Like nothing's really going to get you ready.
Yeah, body armor does.
Yeah, that's not getting shot. It's like saying the way I'm going to prepare to be around a ghost is not be around a ghost.
Well, don't you have like charms and weird shit that you can give me?
Yeah, I could give you some shit that'll keep them away from you, keep you from possessing you.
That's a start. That's a good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Because like usually my interaction with ghosts is like when he has the ghost possess him, so that I talk to him. I'm not this whole ghost. Okay, cool. So yeah, like that's just gonna be it. I think there's probably gonna be a training montage. Like, are you ready?
Yeah.
Cool. I think so that's one of my actions. Do you want me to keep going? Or do you want to switch it up?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fine. John, what are you doing?
I'm at the crime scene doing my magical CSI shit.
Awesome.
And I think, like, you see a variety of things. You see the warden, like, walk around the scene and not scrutinize things the way inspectors do with, like, looking at blood spatter or documents or whatever. It's more like communing with the space or something. And is it what just for if I'm gonna picture it, like the murders, were they supernatural? Were people like, oh, sorry, Judd. Yeah, go ahead. I can ask you all, I guess. Were the murders, did people get shot and stabbed, or were they like magically?
They were both shot, right? Like,
it was kind of a mix. If you recall,
they were killed by mundane means.
Yeah, but the ghosts did something with their spirits too.
Okay. But there's like bodies here, and there's blood, and there's
ectoplasmic residue on the walls and stuff like that too. But yeah, there was blood and violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I want to do one. Well, I kind of want to do two things, but I don't want to take up a bunch of time.
Cool. So let me just like lay the room out for you in case there's anything.
That'd be good.
It's the parlor. They were clearly all sitting in a circle. You can see the electroplasmic char mark where the ghost got out once they opened the jar, the spirit jar, and then you see. They were going to let it possess the Severosi witch who was there, and the ghost pushed her ghost or spirit out of her body, and then went into her, and then jumped back into the Leviathan ship captain, who was armed, and he started shooting people.
And during that, Lord Penderin was killed.
Yep, he was the second person shot.
Okay. And there are no all of these bodies do not currently contain spirits.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and the other weird thing is you see where they like you can see like the body outline of where the witch's ghost was pushed out of her body.
Mm-hmm.
And like pushed through a wall that caused like a burn mark. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And that presumably that spirit it's Una that we're talking about that
that did
this. Okay. So
And then one more detail that we dealt with last time is there is a ward, like a ward that was set here that was spent. So there was like an electroplasmic energy used to create a sorceress ward that would notice when anyone was using electroplasmic energy and any kind of magic or hoodoo, and it got tripped and it's already spent, it's done.
So like in Pindarin's parlor, someone had set this up as a trigger.
Yeah.
And we don't know if Pindarin set it up or what, but that's...
You don't think so. It looks like a fast, I'm on the fly, let's keep moving thing that got done.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like, you don't feel like Pindarin did it. You feel like someone did it quickly while they were on their way out of here.
Okay. All right. So I would like to, maybe I'll do one of those as a flashback later. For right now, as a spirit warden, I have different actions than Bluecoats and inspectors. And one of my actions is called Fathom, and it is a way of deeply understanding or knowing a thing through a kind of psychic intuition, sort of.
Yeah.
It's useless in court, but I can just like kind of come to know something through meditation and accessing the ghost field and that kind of thing.
Cool.
It's not based on evidence or anything. It's just knowing stuff.
Yeah.
So you open your mind to the psychic.
I opened my mind to the psychic maelstrom. Okay. That is exactly right.
I enjoy this tremendously because I tried to do a similar thing last session and failed like categorically. So
nice.
This makes a lot of sense.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
You rolled 1s and 2s and you had to confront a ghost in your vision. I would not agree that you failed per se. We did find out stuff due to that.
This is terrifying.
What does that look like, John?
So it looks like I walk around the room and I sort of like eliminate certain possibilities through intuition and kind of emotional resonance. So like if this mattered, like the blood spatter would be in a different pattern that reminded me of a bird's wing instead of a twig, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's that it's this weird like just taking it in and starting to see mystical significance or patterns that aren't really patterns. And eventually what I'm trying to do is find that signature, like Una's spectral signature, essentially. Cool. Like she's broken through the ghost field into the real world here to do something to these people. Yeah, and left this residue behind. It's like Maya and I are having like mirrored scenes.
Yeah,
I love it because I want to do a similar thing, and mine is going to be a lot weirder.
Nice,
awesome.
Yeah, so I'm doing my job. I'm doing two things here at this place, and we can decide, I guess, which one we think is more fun.
Yeah,
to roll for maybe. I'm doing my job, which is get a lead on Una Spirit, so we can like corral that entity, find its location, do the spirit warden thing, trap it, you know. But also, I am casting my senses into the ghost field. This is Lord Pindarin's parlor. We know, I know where the ghost archive is now. I know Pindarin was the one responsible for this, like, very heinous crimes against the Empire. It's a shame that he's dead. His spirit can pay for it, I guess. We'll see. But it's almost like I'm here doing my job, but at the same time, I'm working for the spirit wardens kind of secretly. And I want to come to know, you know, I want to find Pindarin's secret journal or the staircase behind the fireplace or whatever it is, like the thing here that's like Pindarin's, the legacy of this betrayal that he's been doing for all these years.
Awesome.
I'm supposed to be tracking Una, but maybe it's up to you. Maybe I'll just I'll open my brain here and then we'll just see what I get. Maybe.
Cool. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, okay, cool. Sweet. So I'm going to roll my Fathom. I am a master of the Third Cataract, which is one of my special abilities as a spirit warden. it basically gives me +1d when I'm gathering information from supernatural stuff.
Cool.
It does some other stuff too, but that's relevant to this. So I will do Fathom. Is this just gather info? Is this actually risky to do here?
No, I don't think it is. I think it is just gather info. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Because
I'll mark it as a fortune roll just so you know.
Cool.
And where's my? That's so technically my effect by default will be great.
Okay.
But it's that's depends. Like maybe Penderin has weird stuff here that is limiting my abilities.
Yeah.
So should it be standard?
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. Cool. I thought it was just fortune. I wasn't aware. Okay. Yep.
I mean, it is fortune, but like just so the readout and the Roll20 kind of makes sense.
Got it.
And then one bonus die. Does anyone have the Devil's Bargain for me?
Yeah. I'll give you an extra die if you harness the energy from the ward, and thus making this a risky standard roll and not a fortune roll.
Oh, yeah, I will definitely do that.
Cool.
Okay. Risky standard, 2 bonus dice. Hey, I 1, 2, 1, and a 6. So I'll take all the bonus dice I can get.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I open my mind to the ghost field here and try to fathom. I'm seeking out Una's signature, but also really deep down, I know that the Master Warden wants the archive and wants Penderin's access and all that stuff. So
yeah. Awesome. Yes, you find Penderin's ghost door and ghost key.
Yes.
Like where he keeps his stuff, and yeah, and I think it's in his room. There was no way to find it if you don't have some kind of mystical stuff. So like it just wasn't even on the table when the other folks were here. And yeah, like you find like it's the ghost key is on his desk, and it's just that no one else could see it. And you can.
Yeah.
And like you open a door that isn't there to anyone else in his bedroom, and it opens a doorway into a room that was in this house when it burned down 40 years ago, and then when it got rebuilt, that room didn't get rebuilt, and the roof, just the layout is all different, and like you literally like walk into a room that's a ghost of a room. And he has his journal, like he has his like seance journal of like all the ghosts he's talked to, and it also has the names of the people who were at this party.
Oh yes, that's so good. Found Penderin's seance journal, has names of attendees. Is it like I'm a noble? Is it like a who's who of nobility?
Yeah, or? I mean, so the Severosi witch is not from the upper crust,
sure.
But the name Laurette Pritchard. The Pritchard family is pretty well known, and yep. And the Leviathan captain is named Lady Clave, and she.
Don't say.
Yeah, and she is a captain for the Rowan fleet, but the Rowan family has just been decimated. So like her fleet is kind of in a weird, like those ships are in a weird spot where they're kind of being reclaimed and handed out to different people who have done well for the imperial government.
Yeah. I'm from Imperial City, and like being this far away from where it actually goes down here on the Northport side of things
Right.
People are keenly interested in the fortunes of the Leviathan hunters, since like we will all die if they don't do well.
Yeah.
So, like when I see Lady Clave's name, I'm like, I know who that is. I'm just like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he has an arrow from Lady Clave to Lorette Pritchard for some reason.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Great. Lauren, any downtime stuff for Maya?
Hell yeah. I think it nicely contrasts what we just witnessed too, because I think the way Maya is going to go about tracking down Una's signature is sorry, this is going to get a bit violent. I think she wants to knock out that racist guy that was chained to her radiator, to use him as like a ghost compass, and then I think she's gonna like prop him in front of her riding her horse like around town, just to like try and track like.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can I just say for a second, like you have a horse that's amazing.
She has a Dutchlands horse.
I know, you're so that's so cool. I love it. Anyway.
It has a name. Her name is Kakra.
Cool. So I've got some clocks. I've got a lot of clocks in the background that will just be ticking off without anyone knowing. So yes, make a roll. And there's a clock that is appropriate for this.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Maya's thinking too carefully about being particularly like low profile about this, because she is quite reckless.
It's risky, great. Yeah.
Excellent. I feel like this is
your trauma.
Yeah. I feel like this is probably like a pursue or.
Yeah, I should have asked you what you were going to do before I gave you your position. Absolutely. Yes, pursue, risky, great. Oof, I'm glad like the game designer isn't watching this, because that would be embarrassing.
I'll let it die. Oh yeah, I got a 6.
Cool. So is that 3 ticks or 4 ticks? 3?
I think it's 3. Yeah.
Okay.
For long-term projects, it's 3 ticks. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you get to the docks, and the compass is pointing like off the end of the docks at a Leviathan ship that is leaving port.
Oh no.
And basically, like, you've got to realize what a horse on a dock is like. It's like someone pulled their Lamborghini like up onto the beach and just like got out of the car and is like, oh, like it's like dock workers and sailors are like lining up to like, what the fuck? And I think the guy who you have unconscious is like just kind of bleeding in front of you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's an odd scene. Yeah. I mean, he's manacled, so like you've got control of him. But yeah.
I think Maya barely notices all the people around her, because she's just like violinized, fixated on that goddamn fucking ship that's drifting out there.
But you feel like there's some like you kind of look at the dockside bars and pubs, and you're like, something is here. Like your investigator's intuition is like, I'm close to finding something that's here. But I don't know what yet. And we can just end it there and then start with, I think you all meet up an hour later at the Dunslow precinct.
I've got some more downtime actions. I think all of us have at least one more.
Oh, cool. Let's finish our downtime then.
Maya, was that just let me clarify this. Was that a downtime action, or was it just like a thing that you did? Is there like a tracking clock that you were working on for like a long-term project, or acquire asset like the location of what's her face?
There wasn't officially, but I'm good to type it as that or something, or whatever.
I did click off 3 bits on a clock that are relevant to this situation.
That's fair, Judd.
Cool.
We worked on a clock that you have for the case as a long-term project this downtime. That feels appropriate.
I think
Cool.
So I have, because I have calculating, I get 3 actions total, and I've used up one of them. There are 2 that I want to do, one of which is I want to try and lower the impact, so I want to reduce the heat on our group. That's the thing I want to do. And also, since you just presented us with a challenge, I have a great idea on how to catch up to that boat if that's where we want to go next.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you'll remember that last time when we got the new mandate and we had to scrub all our stuff and start from zero, one of the suggestions that I gave us is that we take something that we did not know the use for at the time, but I wanted to try playing with, and I figured we'd flash back to the exact moment we needed it. And that thing was like an Imperial Pardon, which basically allows us to do something absolutely wild and then get forgiven by the Emperor for it. I think what we really need to do is commandeer a ship.
Heck yeah.
So this is great, but what you're supposed to do is offer a pardon as an incentive to a witness.
That's how you would do it, John. That's not how we do it.
I mean, technically, once you get a blank pardon, you could spend it on yourself. So.
What did you think we were gonna do?
That's amazing.
This is the kind of thing you gotta play fast and loose, because how else do you commandeer Leviathan ships?
Well, and just to give you a moment of pause, there are actually 2 types. There's an Imperial Pardon, which gets you off the hook for crimes, and then there's a separate thing called clemency, which can keep you from having your spirit tortured out of your body by the spirit wardens. Those are 2 different types of get out of jail free cards.
I do not have a clemency on my sheet, so...
You don't? No, that's true. It's on a different sheet.
That's not a thing I can use, so I use what I have at hand. But yes, I think us taking over a boat and causing it to go places where it shouldn't is probably bad. We could get in trouble, except for the fact that we're
just a Leviathan hunter? Yeah, people are usually cool about that. Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, no big deal.
Well, if they're not, the Emperor says it's okay. All right. That's my plan. Boy. What do you folks think?
Wow, yeah, I'm glad I don't know about
like if season 2 of True Detective, Rust Cole used his Louisiana State Trooper badge to take an oil platform off of the Louisiana coast. That's basically what you're doing.
Yeah,
and I'm here for it. I'm totally here for it.
Sounds good. Now the thing is, I'm not thinking about taking a ship of the fleet. So the Leviathan ships are basically floating cities because they're supposed to process into all sorts of other wild stuff. They're not small boats. I think that we could potentially find something that's a little bit faster, that may not be quite as epically valuable, right? I'm looking for a well-provisioned speedboat as opposed to an ocean liner, as it were.
Got it. Are there more?
Reduce heat and that. Those are my remaining 2 actions.
Okay.
So for heat reduction, I think I'll just essentially put the fear of God into the people in the office and get them off of our case if that's possible. Just to essentially be Spirit Warden, and also Imperial Mandate, and don't have time, the city might be in grave jeopardy kind of thing.
Yeah.
To just basically, keep our pressure down and keep, people from questioning us too much. So that's all I'm doing.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. I don't really have, hilariously, the Bluecoats don't actually have a lot of help in the system architecture. So I don't have, somebody who's, able to give me a +1D, so I think I'm just gonna throw my relate dice and try and convince people that everything's gonna be okay.
Okay.
So this is just wait, do we roll our tier? I forget. Did I mess that up? Reduce heat. Nope, it's roll an action. So yeah. Boop. Hey, I'm gonna reduce our heat by 2, so I'll just do that.
Cool.
And I would like to acquire the asset of a boat.
Cool.
This is totally not going to bite us in the ass because the Leviathan Hunter captains are totally not high status.
Strash.
Go.
Are you doing this on your own before you talk to the spirit warden?
No, I have to. Oh, before I talk to the spirit warden, yeah, for sure. But like, Maya definitely has to tell me that the ghost is out on the ocean, right? Because
I have like a lot of disposable funds that I could dump on getting a boat. But if you're doing this before that, then
I hate you so much. We never get paid.
I'm sorry.
How do you have money?
I have so much money.
Right.
But if you're doing this on your own, I can't help you.
I have the worst job in the world. No, I think it's gonna be why? No, this is amazing. I think that's probably like a moment where like actually like we do collect. I think Drav like probably like just gets everyone together. Now I believe you still have a second action in your pocket, John. And I'm on the.
Oh, I'm mostly good. I think Maya has another action, but I'm.
Yeah, I can wrap it into this easily because I was gonna like reduce some stress, so that could just be like my vices, horse riding in the Deathlands. But I kind of feel like I am perhaps riding through Duskfall as if it were the Deathlands to get to drop quick enough. Like cool. I'm riding very recklessly, very quickly through the city with this guy sort of like lolling to get to drop.
Awesome.
So Trev is on his way to get a coffee when somebody on a steed that has purple glowing eyes comes skidding up to him, kind of thing. All right, so let's get this straight, just so that the three of us are on the same page as players rather than as do we want to do like a cool boat chase scene, like go all Miami Vice on them, or do we want to like investigate the docks? Because on one hand, wherever the hell this wizard is going is probably not great, but she could have left stuff in town to be brewing, and while we're out on the ocean chasing her, it could just be getting worse, such that when she comes back with whatever she comes back with,
out of character, I'm totally fine with like chase a Leviathan Hunter and fight a wizard on its decks or something. That's not but like in character, if we want to talk about it, then we can do that scene where we put our heads together.
Cool.
And also out of character, I'm fine with staying in the city and doing like stuff with what's been left behind. I don't think I have a strong feeling either way. Out of character. In character, I definitely do, but that's different.
Yeah, I think likewise. I think out of character, chasing after a ship sounds super cool. Marginally, like there is so much to explore in the city as well. That yes, doing a split could also be kind of cool. I think it's gonna be rad either way.
Maybe we should just meet up and talk about it in character and see.
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Cool. I think you all meet back up at the Dunslow Precinct. Initiate 7424. I'm not going to tell you how you feel, but their office is literally like an old broom closet that has been jammed with two desks and has a chalkboard, a board in it for them putting up stuff.
I'm from Imperial City. Like the city of Duskwall is like a shitty broom closet.
Right. Yes.
So like this is not. I can't really tell the difference.
That's awesome. So you're in a shitty broom closet. You're in the Dunslow Precinct, which is the shitty broom closet of Duskwall, and then you're in a shitty broom closet in the shitty broom closet. It's like it's inception of medieval broom closets. Cool.
This is what I would expect to find, and it makes total sense.
And before we start talking, do we want to take a break? This might be a good time to do that before like we get everybody together, or we can talk, kind of come up with a plan, and then break after that.
I was gonna say we talk just so that we have a plan and we can have it ruminating in our heads while we.
That's maybe better. Awesome. Yeah, cool. So you're in the broom closet, where cubed, and you all come back together.
So, what's our next move?
Sorry. We're just about to play and I'm interrupting us. Judd.
Yes.
My the stipulation on my ability with the crow is I can give it a certain task, which I haven't done. If I haven't done that, it warns me. Let me see the wording of this so we can parse it correct.
Because I thought you were
danger.
It warns me.
I thought it was watching the archive, right?
Yes, it warns me of all arcane threats before they manifest.
Cool.
So I'm going to leave it there, because I know there are other people dealing with the archive and potentially doing traitorous shit. So I'm leaving it there for now. And awesome. So I'm specifically totally unaware of everything that Maya has done and the corpse and the magical compass and everything.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to establish that's like out totally under the radar, and
cool.
I have no idea about that. So
Maya, what do you do with the bleeding with Tricephala?
Yeah.
Our favorite.
That's a really good question.
Compass / racist asshole.
Yeah. Oh, that is a really good question.
I mean, you're in a Bluecoat precinct, so like there are places, there are plenty of like benches where you can just like hook the manacles into it.
He was possessed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he was possessed.
Yes. Yeah.
You would expect that if you told me that, I would just disappear him away to Bellwether and no one would ever see him again.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I guess I would pull the ghost thermometer out of his arm and then like yeah, and like sort of shove him in your direction. And I'm like, so this individual was possessed by one Una Ward.
Yeah, I like blankly look at him for a moment and like, you know, feel the possession on him and kind of like shove him back down, you know, manacled to the bench there in disgust. And I tell them, I'm like, Sergeant, to the like desk sergeant.
Yes.
Like, ring the crematorium, give them my authorization code, have this man taken in for questioning immediately by the wardens.
Oh, okay.
And I stare at him and like wait for him to do it.
Oh, right now.
Yeah, and I think like so there are pneumatic tubes that they use in their office to like send things to the Lord Governor, their reports. But like the pneumatic tubes in Dunslow like haven't been used in a long time. So he like figures out how to use it and then like writes the code and then sends the message to the crematorium.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, and I think there's like one tube that like has an emblem that you really didn't know what it was before, but now you realize it's a spirit warden mask. And like you pull it down and then like you put the message in and then
it's never been used. It's like rusted closed.
Yeah, totally. There's like dust comes out when he moves it. Cool. So yeah, you're all in this cramped little office.
I've investigated. What does Spirit Warden say? I've been to the crime scene. It's as you said. There are no spirits there. I intend to track this spirit, Una, but I currently do not have a lead on her spectrological profile.
Sort of Maya sort of tips her hat up so you can see her violet eyes, and she just is like, I may have an idea.
Yeah, they like switch their gaze over to you, like cock their head.
They're currently making a quick exit on a Leviathan ship, leaving dock this minute.
I think like Drav is probably like precariously balancing his chair with his like feet up on like one side of the wall to like basically like this closet is so small that's like how he gets comfortable is like those feet at a 45-degree angle up on a wall. But I think there's like a clatter as the chair like rights itself and he stands up and he goes like, well, okay, if we know. I mean, my plan was go and wait at the site of the old ward creation and wait for him to show up and try and bring down the walls. But, I mean, if we're not going to put all our eggs in one basket, why are we still sitting here?
Which ship was it? I expect for you to be able to identify Leviathan Hunter ships by sight.
Investigator might be able to.
Yeah. I think I could ascertain Judd?
Yeah, make a roll of some kind. Just fortune. It doesn't have to be any kind of risk.
Excellent.
Maybe roll some questions, see if you picked up clue, like if you asked somebody at the docks.
Oh yeah, that's a cool idea. I can roll a question. I did not. Right. I got a 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just out of your purview.
Yeah, I think I just sort of shrug and I'm like, it was a ship, like a big Leviathan ship.
Yeah, they kind of just look blankly at you like. So I suspect, Judd, given what I know, that it's Lady Clave's ship.
Right. Right.
Which I can describe in detail to the inspector.
Yeah.
If it were a horse, perhaps this would be a different case. Alas, I am unfamiliar with the vessels and vehicles of the city.
I fear that the spirit may be leading us away from the operation to sabotage the lightning barriers here in the city, which is of the utmost importance.
What, you think this ghost has allies?
Definitely.
I agree. I share that fear.
Well, hang on. Who do you think is stupid enough to bring down the lightning barriers?
Within the Imperium, there exists a malignant cancer. Individuals foolish enough to believe in the power of spirits, in so-called reconciled ghosts and demons, who would take all of civilization and bring it low, to put these malefactors in charge, to dash all of humanity's works into the darkness. This cannot be allowed to happen. Perhaps you have not yet dealt with these dark forces, but I can assure you they are around every corner, in every home.
I think Drav gives you this like blank stare, like and then he goes, "Oh, she's using Clave's Leviathan Hunter Captain money in order to hire people to actually get stuff done, or potentially some of the ghosts that she grabbed," and like nods, like as if that's actually what you said, instead of there are cults and demons planning the demise of the Empire. Because Drav's like,
You're like, follow the money. Yeah, I get it.
Follow the money. Yeah, follow the money. So I it's actually really interesting because like Drav like draws that conclusion and then pauses and checks with Maya and says like, "What are we investigating?" And it's pretty clear that like it took you saying something for him to realize that there's other avenues of like power and approach. Because he's like, I don't know, it's a wizard. Aren't they just gonna do a spell? And you're like, there are connections and forces beyond your ken. I was like money. Yes, okay. and then he's like, now that I've put some pieces on the table, clearly the inspector has to decide where the case goes, right? So like he checks in with Maya almost like automatically, right? Like he's like, what's the next? Where do we go?
We ought best to just pursue our mandate. As to the correct course of action to see it done. I suspect our spirit warden friend here speaks some sense. This ghost has the ability to split its resources, its extensive resources, quite far and wide. And to assume it puts all of its metaphorical ghost eggs in one basket would be foolish.
So, you think we work the case here?
It would make sense, given its ultimate goal. But... And then I think you can tell, like, the rest of that sentence is, I really want to just, like, fucking go for that ship.
If you do say the word, right? Like,
So-
Drav is like...
Here's an idea out of character. The spirit warden could say that I potentially have the means to acquire a craft and pursue Una on the Leviathan ship, and maybe we can dedicate the gondoliers to kind of a holding action in the city for us to like protect that's sort of their thing, right? They're like anti-ghost busters too. Maybe there's a way for me to lean on Cirsa and be like, hey, we're going to be out of the city for a day or so. Like, keep a lookout for us while we go do the Leviathan Hunter hijinks. Or vice versa. We could do it the other way. We could have the gondoliers like track the vessel on the seas so that we don't lose track of them while we deal with stuff in the city. But if we're feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to miss the opportunity to have a Leviathan Hunter ship scene, then I think we should go for it and maybe just like go a little off protocol here and introduce a fourth faction into our case, the private sector of the gondoliers, and be like, okay, we have to trust them. We have to let them watch the city while we are away. If that sounds fun.
If we want to have a cool scene on a boat, I'm in. But if we want to play it smart, I have a plan on. I have two great fears about that boat, and I think that one of them we can't do anything about. The second one I have a plan for. So, I don't know. Do we want to have cool action scenes on boats, or do we want to let the ghost come back with whatever the hell she wants to bring back and then deal with it when she makes landfall?
Oh no!
Just flip a coin if you got it. You gotta make the call. Driv's gonna back your play.
What do you want to do, Judd? What's exciting you?
I'm cool with anything. So it's really what is fun for you guys. I'm in awe of all of these plans. I think it's great.
So I could buy like leaning on the gondoliers to at least keep an eye out or keep things. Yeah, to keep a hold a little bit while we do this. But yes.
We are better at solving cases, right? And now we've got a spear warden who can help us, like, throw a net down and, like, look for clues and things like that. Like, Judd dropped the hint that there's something might be off on the docks. Like, we've got places to look and things to stir up.
Yes. It's so hard.
It's okay. We might still get a scene on a boat when the boat comes back, because clearly Una is not just like, I've set my plans in motion and now I leave across the night sea and never come back.
I want to do the boat.
Okay. All right. John sold us on the boat. Let's do the boat.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think there is a moment where, like, Drav goes, like, okay, so we just gotta acquire a really fast boat that can catch up to Leviathan Hunter ship. And, he opens the drawer and pulls out the, like, Imperial Mandate with the giant-ass gold seal on it that looks like the mask that the Emperor wears, and is just like, I guess we're just gonna have to flash our badges and, do the things we gotta do. It's not like commandeering a cart, but it's a very big cart, and we'll just say that a lot to ourselves as, we get into hot water.
Cool. Awesome. Let's start there after our break.
Awesome.
All right.
I want to establish just one fact before we go, which is that before he leaves the precinct, Drav writes a note and drops it off into a pneumatic tube. And we may or may not have to flash back to this moment sometime in the future when boats return.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, cool.
Give me just a second to get our timer set up. All right, everyone. Hopefully we will see you after the break.